morning. It's lovely to see you on such a lovely sunny day. My name's Sue and I'm from the Easter team, and we are another partner with Love Your Neighbour, also partnering with CAP and other organisations as part of Mission in Crawley. So essentially we are a food bank. We help people who are in food and fuel poverty, and we're doing that every week from the hub, which is just behind County Mall. Our mission is to help local people in crisis to feel accepted, cared for and valued by providing food and support with utility top-ups so we can show them the love of Jesus. And that's why we do what we do, and that's why we're all here today, to share the love of Jesus. The reading is from Luke 23, verses 44 to 49. It was about noon, and the whole land became dark until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because the sun did not shine. The curtain in the temple was torn in two. Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Father, I give you my life." After Jesus said this, he died. When the army officers there saw what had happened, he praised God, saying, "Surely this was a good man." When all the people who had gathered there to watch saw what happened, they returned home, beating their chests because they were so sad. But those who were close friends of Jesus, including the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance and watched.
Good morning. The reading, I'm Jamie. I'm the pastor of Elim Church Crawley in Ifield, and it is really good to come and share an Easter reflection with you. The reading that we've just had talks about a darkness covering the land from 12 until 3. And this darkness is emphasizing the death of Jesus that is taking place. It emphasizes the crucifixion. And today, as we think about the death of Jesus, death always carries a sense of darkness. Death always carries a sense of gloom. And we vividly remember the details of the death of a loved one, as Ian has just expressed. On the 31st of May 2007, I'd taken some time off work and I went to Belfast for the weekend. I went to the cinema to watch the Simpsons movie, and about 10 minutes into that movie, my phone started going off, and it was my brother. So it was a bit annoying and I turned it off. My phone went off again, it was my brother again, and I ignored it. But when it went off for the third time, I realized something was up. I picked up my phone, went out of the cinema, took the call, and my brother had told me that my dad had been found dead in his home. And suddenly a darkness filled my heart. A darkness already existed. He had been an alcoholic for many years and we had lived with that, but a new darkness, a new grief filled my heart. There was no joy, there was no happiness, there was nothing hopeful in his death. So what makes today different for Christians? What makes the reflection on the death of Jesus different for us? Why is there a sense of hope? In Israel's history, during their captivity in Egypt, one night, in the dead of night, in the midst of darkness, God liberated his people. A judgment fell upon the people of Egypt as their firstborn died. The blood covered the houses of the Israelites, and in the dead of night, God liberated them and he set them free from the hand of Egypt. And this physical darkness that covers the land as Jesus dies is an act of God. God is again liberating his people, setting them free. Jesus is the new Passover. A judgment upon sin falls upon his shoulders as he, the innocent Lamb of God, dies as our substitute, as our representative. Sin loses its power, it loses its grip over those the Son liberates. But the reality is, we all need new hearts. The law can't liberate. And we have this scene of the temple curtain being torn because Jesus is the new temple. He is the greater temple. He does something the temple cannot do, and that is to liberate from the grip of sin by giving a new heart. 25 years ago, when I was a 12-year-old kid, something really important happened in my country. The Belfast Good Friday Agreement was signed. An agreement that brought an end to violence. Violence that had devastated our land. Violence that had killed some of my relatives. Violence that had terrorized everyone. But here's the reality of that agreement. It brought an end to the violence, but it can't end sectarianism. It can't end the hatred between unionists and nationalists, loyalists and Republicans, Protestant and Catholic, because that needs a new heart. That sectarianism still exists, and it's still rooted in communities, because while a law may have the power to stop the violence for a while, a law doesn't change a heart. It may regulate the violence, but it doesn't transform. And as Jesus dies, as the curtain is torn, as the Passover lamb dies, the one who is the new temple, he gives the opportunity for a new heart. He deals with the sin that enslaves. He takes the death penalty upon himself that we all receive. And as he dies, he cries, "Father, into your hands I entrust my spirit." A final revealing of who he is, that this isn't just another human being, but this is God the Son. We see something of the Trinity in this place. And as he dies, the crowd look on and realize he is innocent. The Roman soldier calls him righteous. The crowd who had begged for his blood start to beat their chest in the realization of what's going on. And so here is why there is hope in the death of Jesus, along with the mourning for sin. Here is why we gather and we worship with joy today, because we've been liberated from sin. It has lost its grip on our hearts. The death penalty that was ours, we have been set free from. The Passover lamb has become our representative, taking that judgment to the cross and leaving it there so that we go free. And so through him, we receive salvation. We receive forgiveness of sin. We receive a new heart. We receive a new life. We look forward to a new creation when all that I've talked about ends once and for all. And we have a relationship with the Father through the Son, in the power of the Spirit. And so we do gather and we mourn our sin. And we gather and we rejoice in a Savior who has liberated us and given us new hearts. And so let's worship him together.